Let's talk about why everyone looked dead at the Met Gala this year, besides Zendaya, and also the Zendaya hat theory. So I was looking at a lot of the makeup looks to talk about, and none of the makeup was really hitting this year. Then I thought it can't be the fault of the makeup artists. There must be something deeper going on. Then I noticed the very dark carpet, and I started to look up what the lighting context was at the Met Gala this year. And what I'm seeing is a lot of bright overhead lighting, dark canopies at the top, and dark colors of the carpet. And this is a lighting disaster. So when you're doing beauty portraits of people, usually you use a reflector to bounce the light upward. It prevents unflattering shadows. So usually in photography, you use a silver or a white. And in past years, the carpet at the Met Gala has been lighter. This year, it's very dark, nearly black. And when you use a reflector that is black, absorbs light, so it actually accentuates all of the shadows and gives pictures more like a moody, dramatic look, which is the opposite of what you want for photography. And everyone was making fun of Kim Kardashian for her aging neck, but in reality, you could see like on her décolletage, you can see that there's like a strong overhead light hitting her in this photo, and that is and also the dark carpet is reflecting shadow up into her jawline, creating really unflattering shadows. It was hard to capture, but even Emma, who is like in her 20s, she had a lot of shadowing on her neck also. This is a super unflattering lighting situation. Now, to the Zendaya hat theory. She was a genius, and I think that this cannot be a coincidence. I think Zendaya really methodically planned this out. She wore an all-white outfit and a hat. And why was this genius? Because the hat is blocking that harsh overhead lighting. She's preventing a lot of these harsh shadows from hitting her eye area, which is extremely aging, and you can see it in other people. It's causing Kylie looks beautiful, but this lighting is so unflattering. See how it's causing all that shadowing in the brow area, causing like this heaviness. It also accentuates every line in your under eyes. It doesn't matter how old you are, how beautiful you are. If you're in overhead lighting, you're gonna look your worst. And she still looks beautiful, but if the lighting conditions were appropriate, she would have looked 10 times better. So by Zendaya wearing all white, she's kind of counteracting that dark carpet, and the light from the flash from the photography is bouncing off of her décolletage, and it's reflecting back into her face, kind of counteracting that. So we don't see any harsh neck shadows in her photos. But we can see, if you look at any of the photos of people who are not wearing hats, you could see these harsh neck shadows around the jawline. You can also see like there's multi-directional shadows because they're being hit by flash from multiple angles, and there's no light underneath that is going to like even out those shadows. So we have a lot of unflattering shadow being created. And it doesn't matter how old you are, young people, older people, everyone like kind of looks their worst, to be honest, just because of these lighting conditions. And I think also, besides the carpet being dark, it's also blue, which is crazy because that means that not only are you having shadows being casted or reflected back onto people and light being absorbed by the ground, you have this blue hue being cast on everyone, which is unflattering on everybody. That's why I thought everyone looked kind of washed out, and I was like, oh, she needs more blush, they need more color in their face. I thought everything was like very cool, but that was just how it's translating because of the lighting conditions, because it's kind of washing everyone out and desaturating all of the makeup, which again is unflattering. Unfortunate and a kind of ironic to have a theme that's like celebrating melanated people and then you're putting them in blue lighting, which is the most unflattering color that you could cast onto them. You could just see everyone looks kind of washed out, at least in relation to how we normally see them. So I think Kim also got the memo because she's also wearing a hat. But I feel like Zendaya and Kim are like very in the know in the fashion world, and I feel like they might have known. Trust me, you consider everything when you go to these events, so they probably consider the lighting, and they probably knew that the lighting was not going to be great and the carpet was going to be dark, so they opted to wear hats to kind of protect their face from unflattering overhead lighting. Which Kim's face looked great in her photos, but they kind of did her dirty with this interview. Everyone looks sort of tired, and you can see every texture irregularity in people's skin. It's just accentuated by this dark carpet because it's reflecting shadow back into the face. And these are people who are under 30 years old. But it makes you kind of realize why some celebrities don't come to these events, because their public image is really important. And if they're going to be photographed to be seen by millions of people and the conditions are not good or flattering, I can see why they won't show up. And trust me, they know that the carpet's going to be blue this year. It's going to be dark blue. because they have to know these things for coordinating their outfits, and they plan every detail. So they're aware. These are people who are photographed professionally for a living, essentially, and they know these details. And look at how small those lights are. And then they have the dark carpet on every single wall and the ceiling. The light is being absorbed, and the lighting looked weak in the first place.